Welcome back to MotionPic Recap. Today we're going to recap the romance, comedy and action-adventure movie titled, 6 Days 7 Nights. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. Robin Monroe works as an editor of a fashion magazine in New York called Dazzle. Her boyfriend Frank one day surprises her with a vacation, remarking they always work, and now he's managed to clear 1 week for them with her boss. Next, the two are on their way to the tropical island Makatea. Frank goes to fetch their bags while Robin goes to find a charter to their island. She asks a mechanic called Quinn where she can find a charter to Makatea, and is told she's in luck, that they're filling in for the normal flight to Makatea that couldn't make it. Frank appears, and Robin says they can't go in this broken plane, that they must find another. Quinn says it's not broken, that it's being maintained, and that their only alternative is a boat that takes 3 days to the island. Next, they're ready to go, and Quinn is the pilot. A girl called Angelica appears, who's their flight service director. Angelica happily shows her new bathing suit she bought. Next, they arrive at the exotic island, and Quinn welcomes them to Makatea. They make it to the resort, where they check into a beautiful room on the beach, and Robin remarks she could stay there forever. That night, as they're out walking, Frank suddenly asks her to marry him, and she says yes. Later, as Frank says he'll be back in a few seconds, Quinn walks up to her, being very drunk. Robin asks where his co-pilot is, and Quinn says she's with the tourists. Quinn remarks people come here looking for romance when they can't find it anywhere else. Robin doesn't like that comment, and moments later, Frank appears, and Robin says she wants to leave. Next day on the beach, Frank is checking out girls walking by. Suddenly, Robin gets a phone call. It's her boss, saying they have an emergency, that they're about to lose their models for the main cover if they don't get a manager over to babysit the photo shoot, which happens to be on Tahiti, which is very close to Makatea. She says she's sorry, but that no one else is available, and begs her to do it. Robin reluctantly agrees to do it, and next, she's asking Quinn to fly her to Tahiti, saying she can pay $700. Quinn asks Angelica if she wants to join, but she says she has a show that night. Quinn says he can go in 1 hour. Robin asks Frank to go with her, but he says he will resent going with her. If he stays he will miss her and make her feel guilty leaving just after him having proposed to her, which he likes better. 1 hour later, they're ready to go, and as the sun is about to set, they take off. He asks about what she does, and she explains she's an editor of a magazine. Quinn sees the magazine gives 10 tips for women on how to light a man's fire, which he remarks is bullshit, that the only thing women have to do to get a man's attention is to show up, it's easy. Meanwhile on Makatea, Frank goes to the local bar, and watches a performance. Suddenly Angelica appears, getting Frank's immediate attention, who can't take his eyes off of her. A storm quickly builds up, and Quinn says they better return to the island, and getting nervous, Robin starts taking some type of pills against stress. Suddenly, a lightning bolt strikes the airplane, which fries their radio, and causes the plane to lose altitude. Having taken too many pills, Robin has been drugged and starts acting drunk. Quinn suddenly sees an island, and goes down to make an emergency landing. While Frank is having real fun back on Makatea, Robin and Quinn are crash landing, God knows where. The next day, Robin asks where they are, and Quinn says he doesn't know, explaining the wheel on the airplane broke, so they can't take off. Robin asks if he isn't the type of man with skills that can walk out into the forest with a pocket knife and build a shopping mall and fix these kind of things, which Quinn remarks he isn't. She gets an idea, picks out a phone, and says she'll call for help. Some time later, she figures out there's no connection. Quinn says there's bad news, that they can't take off, they can't call for help, and if people start searching for them, it will probably take days before they find them, so they will have to stay together for a long time. The only thing they've got is a flare gun with a single flare. Robin starts arguing, wanting her money back, and Quinn gives her half her money back, remarking he figured he took her halfway. She gets upset, and runs to the plane, throwing out things. Suddenly she finds a life raft, and starts messing around with it. It blows up in her face, and she gets stuck inside the plane. On Makatea, Robin's boss calls Frank, asking where Robin is, and since no one has heard from them, they call for rescue, and not long after, they jump on a helicopter that will go look for them. On the island, Robin catches Quinn ogling, and she tells him to stop. Quinn says she's not her type, and when she asks why, he says she talks too much, is opinionated, stuck up, having an ass that's too narrow, and titties that are too small. She asks if he wants to know why he's not her type, and he replies no. They find water that they searched for, but as a pig appears, Robin scared runs down into the water. Suddenly, something swims up in her pants, and she yells on Quinn for help, guessing it's a snake. Quinn says that's bad, and she gets even more nervous. Quinn tells her to relax, that he'll get it out. She gets real nervous, but then says she better not catch him smiling. He gets it out, and she thanks him, after which he starts smiling. Next, Quinn prepares something, and a while later, he comes out looking like a bush, about to hunt. She remarks he can't kill such beautiful animals, and Quinn remarks he hears they taste just like chicken. She says she maybe should taste one bite, but as she starts eating, she can't stop. Afterwards, Rabin bids him good night and goes to sleep in the plane. The next morning, Rabin wakes up and sees a plane in the sky. She runs up to Quinn and takes the flare from him, but stumbles and shoots a tree. As Quinn wakes up and sees she shot the flare, he gets totally mad, asking what the hell she was thinking. She says she was trying to signal that airplane. Quinn calls her a lunatic, explaining that that plane is a commercial airliner, which wouldn't see a nuclear explosion if they were looking for it. Somewhere else, Angelica tells Frank not to worry, that Quinn will take good care of his girlfriend, whatever happened to them. Next, Quinn and Rabin set out to reach the top of the island, since several of the islands got a radio beacon at the top. Reaching the top, they however can't see any beacon. Quinn walks into a bush and starts beating it and swearing. Rabin asks him not to lose his confidence, because if he does, she will totally lose it herself. He says okay, and that he's alright. Suddenly, Rabin spots a boat arriving at the island, and the two run back to the plane, hoping they can take the life raft and get to the boat by morning. While trying to reach the side of the island they saw the boat, Rabin asks what's the deal with him and Angelica, and he explains she's just his friend. He once had a wife however, who fell in love with his business partner, and they sailed into the sunset. They suddenly see two boats, and as Quinn takes a look, he sees a man being killed. He quickly turns around saying they have to get out of there, but then suddenly, as Rabin takes a look too, she sees one of the men seeing them. Quinn explains they're pirates, robbing boats and killing the owners. The pirates lower a motor boat, and Quinn does his best to get to shore. Getting closer to them, the pirates start shooting at them, and the two swim to land to be harder targets. They start running as fast as they can, but being exhausted from rowing in the warm weather, the pirates catch up. Quinn tells Rabin to hide while he picks up a log to trap them. He starts hitting them and kicking them, but then a last guy comes out with Rabin and threatens to kill her. As they're about to execute Quinn, Rabin thinks quickly and says they've got gold and jewels on their boat, explaining they're trying to expand their business to sell to tourists on the islands. The pirates ask them to take them to their boat, but as the pirates are not concentrating on them while walking, the two jump down a slope. The pirates start shooting and follow them. Quinn and Rabin suddenly reach a cliff and Quinn says they need to jump. Rabin says she can't, and Quinn kisses her to think of something else, and he pushes her off. As the pirates come running, they can't see them, and start swearing. Meanwhile, Frank almost starts crying, saying he loved Rabin. Angelica says she thinks guys don't know what love is, because all men she meets say they love her. As Quinn and Rabin reach the shore, they start making out on the beach. The two continue, and Rabin says she's scared the pirates will search for them. Quinn says he's scared too, and Rabin asks him not to reveal his feelings. Quinn remarks he thought women wanted men who were in touch with their feminine side, and Rabin says not when they're chased by armed men. They suddenly find a World War II airplane, and Quinn climbs up to see if there's something useful up there. Meanwhile Makatea, Angelica is drunk, and Frank asks her if she's okay, remarking they must be up at 6 a.m. as they'll widen the search. She replies she feels a bit unwell, and asks if he wants to stay there tonight with her. At first he says no, but then he regrets his answer and instead immediately says why not. But starting to think about Rabin he replies it's wrong and says no again. He starts feeling conflicted once more, but then starts leaving the room to not be tempted. On the unknown island, Quinn and Rabin share with each other they liked kissing on the beach, and Quinn says they better get some sleep. Rabin remarks this feels good and safe. Suddenly, Quinn gets an idea. The next morning, Rabin wakes up to a big bang. Suddenly, Angelica is awakened by a man, saying they'll continue the search in 20 minutes. Angelica wakes Frank, and Frank starts remarking this was all wrong, a comment Angelica doesn't like. Frank says what she did was just right, but what he himself did was totally wrong. Angelica comforts him, saying this is normal when you feel sad, like after a funeral, people normally have sex. Frank remarks not everybody has that. Quinn and Rabin have found a water stream on which they transport the old plane's pontoons. That afternoon, Frank remarks this experience has tested him, that it has revealed no character in him whatsoever, and Angelica replies he should stop beating himself since he's a guy and can't help it. Suddenly, they're told they have decided to call off the search. Quinn and Rabin reach the beach, and start chopping down trees, creating a structure so that they can lift up the airplane. They start digging up sand, and chop down bamboo trees. The two create a small water channel to push the pontoons underneath the airplane. After a lot of work, they finally finish their build. Suddenly they hear a loud noise, and moments later, an explosion occurs. Quinn tells Rabin to get into the plane, and as he tries to grab his stuff, another explosion occurs and he's hit. Rabin jumps out, seeing he's hit, and starts helping him inside. The pirates start getting closer, and are reloading their gun. Quinn starts the plane, and as he increases the power, they suddenly come loose and begin gaining speed. They are constantly being shot at, but the pirates are not that good aimers. They manage to take off at the last second, and the pirates make a last attempt to shoot them down, but their shot backfires, and they're hit themselves. In the air, Quinn remarks he should show her some things in case he can't stay conscious till it's time to land. Meanwhile, a funeral ceremony is taking place on Makatea, and Frank starts crying, begging for forgiveness for having sinned. Suddenly, Angelica hears a familiar sound, and then starts yelling Quinn is back, and Frank, thanks God. Rabin tries to remember what Quinn told her, being nearly unconscious himself. She checks the instruments, lowers the speed, initiates the flaps, and makes the landing attempt. A pontoon falls off, and the landing is quite rough. People come running, and Quinn momentarily wakes up. They all start helping Rabin and Quinn get out of the plane. Some time later, Frank remarks the hotel has decided to give them a month free stay whenever they want. He starts saying he thought he would never see her again, and then explains under that kind of pressure people become nuts and do things they don't really want to do. Next, Rabin visits Quinn in hospital. She asks him if what happened on that island was real, or if it was something that only happens to two people alone on an island. Quinn remarks it was something real. He tells her, however, that she's got all kinds of possibilities and deserves someone younger and fresher. She asks if that isn't something she herself gets to decide, but Quinn adds that they won't work since he's not made for a city like New York, and she won't come out here and become his co-pilot. She says he's right, and wishes him good luck with everything. Next, they're on the airport about to go back to their normal life. Suddenly, Rabin remarks she doesn't think they should get married when something is hanging over their heads. Frank starts saying he's so sorry, that he really tried not to do it, but then Angelica took off her blouse, and he couldn't resist in his sorrow. She asks if he slept with Angelica, and Frank replies he thought she knew. Rabin remarks she didn't know. Frank asks what she meant by something hanging over their heads, and she explains something happened between Quinn and her, and adds it shouldn't have happened if they were really in love, and the two agree this is probably for the best. Rabin hesitates on boarding the plane, but does it anyway. Moments later, Quinn comes running, asking a guy where the New York plane is, which is just taking off. Turning back disappointed, he suddenly sees Rabin telling some workers she just had to get off the plane, asking where her bags are. Quinn walks up to her, and tells her he thinks his life is too simple, and wants to complicate the hell out of it, and the two happily start making out, and she says she'd love to live in his hut on the beach. The end. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this, and hit the like button to help us out. Until next time, take care.